Yes. We are very happy to have the opportunity to play at home and give our fans another look at what Husky softball is in 2017, but just more importantly, continue to grow as a group and see where this adventure takes us.
Yeah, to come back from 11 runs down to finally, what kind of momentum does that give you going into? I mean, it seems like the perfect send-off.
Yeah, having kind of an interesting series, last series at Utah, it definitely gave us some tools in our pocket to go to in terms of playing in certain types of games. But I probably ruin it for our team because I say, so what, next pitch, get over it. So much so that Allie actually had to ask me after that big, huge comeback win. She's like, can we just celebrate for 12 hours? And so I looked at my watch. I'm like, okay, sure, Al. So I think they understand that it's mostly just about how we execute in the moment and just about what's next. And we try to coach that into our team.
Do you believe in momentum, though?
Absolutely believe in momentum. And I think our team totally understands like the blueprint of how momentum works, how you create it, how do you, when you have it, you preserve it. They know, it's important after we score to not let anybody else score. If somebody scores, to answer, those kind of things. So this team's well versed in momentum, and that absolutely was a momentum game.
Kind of everybody in this region was coming with momentum. So how do you figure that out?
It's just all about the next pitch, and every game's its own different animal. I think, yes, there are streaks and there are waves that teams can ride, but the really good ones just take it game by game, pitch by pitch, and do it side by side.
Allie and Casey, what stands out about this year's team compared to previous years? Why do you think you're maybe more prepared this year?
I just think we've really done a good job at the relationships that we have with each other. I think that we push each other and we hold each other to a really high standard, and that's something that we've done from the beginning of the year and we keep growing at as a team. But I think we stick together and have a lot of resiliency throughout what we do. So I think that we stay on the same page as teammates, and that allows us to always kind of keep in a good place mentally and with our relationships with one another.
No, you go ahead. Okay. I was just going to say that I think we're really competitive, but we also don't take ourselves too seriously. So we have a lot of fun at practice, and in everything we do, we compete with everything we have, but we also just have fun while doing it. So it just helps us on both sides.
For Allie and or Casey, since the end of last year, your team rallying cry has been to leave no doubt to yourselves, to your opponents, to the selection committee. Once you were awarded the 6th overall seed, how long did you feel like you could enjoy it before moving on and being like, no, now we've got to focus on Montana, we've got to focus on this weekend?
About as long as we were like, yeah, done. And then it was like, okay, so we play Montana, and that's our biggest focus. I think it was just like, we were excited. It was a moment of achievement for a goal that we had in being a top 8 seed. And then it was on, like Coach Char says, next pitch. It was pretty instant that we were like, okay, this is what we've got. Montana, here we go.
Yeah, because I think you could get super excited and then kind of end it there. Like, okay, that was our goal. We achieved it. Last year we didn't achieve it, so we got it this year, and kind of stop there. And this team's mindset is just to continue to go. We're not just going to be satisfied with the top 8 seed because, as we know, anything can happen. And so we're just focused on the next pitch and continue to do what we do.
There was that surprise with Minnesota right out of the gate. Was there a little moment when you saw that, or hold on, maybe things aren't quite going to script, and maybe a little bit of nerves creeping in?
I don't think it was so much when we watched the selection show nerves, but it was just everything was going really fast, and even speaking with ESPN, it wasn't intended that everything was just going to get thrown out there on the board at once. But you see a team, all kinds of teams have opportunities, and you never know how it's going to shake out, and it's absolutely out of your control. What is in your control is what you do from basically last June till this period of time that allows people to make decisions based on what you've done. And so when we saw that Minnesota was a 2 seed at a 16 site, it was a little bit like, whoa, okay, well, we better hold on to our handlebars, because we've also felt that feeling before as a program, thinking maybe you were going to be in one position and then you aren't. So just more of like, we're not that fragile that if something does crazy happen, we're not going to be affected by it. And obviously, we aren't that fragile that if we do get a high seed that we were trying to earn, that we're not going to be able to overcome that.
There are four teams from the Pac-12 in the top 10. Do you feel this is the best conference in the country? How does that compare to postseason?
Well, I think playing in this conference as a student athlete, coaching in it for quite some time, we have a lot of pride in our conference. Our conference isn't strength in numbers, however. We do only have 9 conference members that are playing softball, so we don't have like the depth, but we absolutely do have 8 teams in total in the tournament, and we're proud of that. But the fact that our conference has this year been better than it's been in the last couple years, it helps us. It helps our RPI. It helps, you know, our team having those lessons learned against Oregon, against UCLA, against Utah, against, you know, Arizona, all the teams that we've played up until this point, that we've had to learn the lessons by great teams. So it's a benefit to be in a great conference.
Outside of this regional, do you think there's any teams that could surprise some people?
Outside of our regional, like, I don't know if I'm like being a bad fan or a bad coach, but like I really don't even know who's anywhere else.
Yeah, I think it's a really competitive year for softball, and I think anybody can show up on any day and do something. So I just think that you can't take any team lightly. I think that's really cool about our sport this year is, I mean, in continuing each year, that it's growing so much that anybody can come out and take a hit, and so you just can't underestimate any opponent. So I think it's going to be a really exciting postseason to end a really exciting year.
How do you pick your mottos, and what purpose do you try to get out of it?
Well, it's a motivation within our program is a key factor. Like, what are we going by? Why are we working as hard as we're working? And it has to breathe, like we have to create our mottos every year organically and allow the team's personality to fit the motto. But this leave no doubt, I mean, it's come from probably the last 3-4 years, and Allie being with us for 4 years, she's probably felt this coming, that we can't screw around. Like when we play these teams and we have opportunities throughout the regular season, we have to continue to leave no doubt. And that's just leaving it up to one player in our program. And fortunately, Allie's got Stengel along with her. But do you have the shirt on? You don't have the shirt on.
Sorry. I almost wore it.
We have a lot of like inner circle influences, people that are important to our program that we follow, whether it's, you know, other coaches, people that work with, you know, other high achieving sports programs, whether we watch the Seahawks and listen to Pete Carroll, or we, you know, talk a little bit to Joe Madden's people that influence him. So some of those things that we hear and say come from some of those influences, but ultimately has to be and be bought in by, you know, everybody in our program, the 20 women that play here, but the coaches and the support staff.
Just to clarify, did you say you talked to Joe Madden?
No, not directly, but we use the same kind of sports psychologist that he uses, Ken Ravizza, and consult with him often.
Any last questions?
Yeah, question for the 2 seniors. You know, it's your last time playing in this tournament. What do you tell like the freshmen who are doing this for the first time? Is there any kind of advice you give them, or message you give them before postseason play gets started?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of nerves. I just remember my freshman year, I didn't quite know what was going on. I knew it was really important, but I didn't quite know what was going on. So I think Stengel and I and the rest of our team have just tried to teach them, this is how it's going to go. Even Coach Tarr, this is how it's going to go. This is what you need to expect. This is where we're going to hit. This is where we're going to have our locker room, and all those things, along with like just competing. I think competing is the easiest thing to do. You know, we've been doing it all season, but just those little things, how the site's neutralized and stuff like that, we've tried to prepare them as best as possible so we can have the advantage.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here.